Life is full of unexplained moments, but some stories go beyond imagination. Today, we're uncovering 10 of the creepiest unsolved mysteries, from sudden disappearances to chilling crime scenes, that left investigators puzzled and families heartbroken. Are you ready to dive into the unknown? Stay tuned. You won't believe these haunting tales. Skye Budnick. The year 2008 brought confusion, fear, and heartbreak to the family of Skye Budnick, a shy, soft-spoken 21-year-old college student. On March 31st, Skye visited her family and casually mentioned she'd be staying with a friend the following day. It seemed like a normal conversation, but when days passed without any contact from her, concerns started to grow. By April 4th, her family officially reported her missing. While searching for answers, they gained access to her email account. And that's when they discovered something shocking: a confirmation for a one-way flight to Hokkaido, Japan, through Tokyo. Skye had boarded her flight on April 1st, and no one knew about her plans. Her sister Megan and her mother Susan decided to take matters into their own hands. They flew to Japan and began retracing Skye's steps. Their search revealed that on April 7th, Skye checked into an inn in southern Hokkaido. While there, she told staff she planned to travel to Sapporo. Strangely, she left most of her belongings behind at the inn, taking only her Nintendo DS and laptop, both capable of connecting to the internet. Neither device has ever been found. What could she have been doing online? Who was she talking to? Her family noticed something else during their search. Her activities in Japan seemed like those of a tourist, visiting spas, hot springs, and resorts. But after April 7th, sightings stopped. She had always been deeply fascinated by Japanese culture. She even studied the Japanese language for 3 years. But despite her love for the culture, her family strongly believes she didn't make this journey on her own. Someone they suspect must have convinced or coerced her into taking this trip. Megan has dedicated herself to keeping her sister's story alive. She runs a website called Surviving Skye, where she regularly shares updates and any new information she uncovers. Some theories have tied her disappearance to Aokigahara Forest, a well-known location often associated with tragic stories. But the area she traveled to was far from there, making this theory unlikely. The Japanese government has said that Skye would have needed a visa to stay long-term in the country, leading some to speculate that she may still be in Japan, living quietly off the radar. Despite their relentless efforts, Megan and Susan didn't uncover any solid leads during their time in Japan. Roberta Bobby Miller. The morning of November 2nd, 2010, brought a chilling news broadcast that caught everyone's attention. Malene, an 80-year-old mother, felt a sinking feeling as she listened. The anchors spoke of a tragic event involving a woman from Guildford, and Malene somehow knew they were talking about her daughter, Roberta Bobby Miller, 54, even though no names were mentioned. Just the day before, a violent scene had unfolded in Bobby's home, claiming both her life and that of her loyal dog, Sport. What could have led to such a horrific event in a quiet town like Guildford? She had been settling into her new home on Country Club Road, a modest property she purchased after finalizing her bitter divorce from Gary Miller just months earlier. Their marriage began in the early 1980s, after meeting in the late 70s when Bobby worked as a waitress. Together, they built a life, raising 2 children, Jennifer and Jonathan. However, cracks in their marriage began to grow in the mid-2000s, and by 2007, the relationship had reached its breaking point. Their divorce was finalized on August 13, 2010, and Bobby started over in her new home across Lake Whippy-Passack. But peace wouldn't last long. Gary's lawyer filed a motion accusing Bobby of failing to uphold her part of their property agreement. She was due in court to address the issue. That Halloween weekend seemed normal enough. On Friday, Bobby went on a date. The next day, she had dinner with her friend Diane, and they spent the evening watching movies at her house. On Sunday, October 31st, she spent the day working on her home. Around 5 p.m., she visited Lowe's, just 5 miles from her residence. But sometime after she returned, everything changed. An unknown person approached Bobby's home. Her car was parked in the driveway, a clear sign she was inside. While in the kitchen, she was fatally shot. The blast echoed through the quiet neighborhood, ending her life instantly. The most puzzling detail: there were no signs of forced entry. Did the intruder have a key? Were the doors left unlocked? Or did Bobby know and trust the person enough to let them in? Robbery was quickly ruled out. Despite $26,000 in cash being in the house, nothing was taken. Further investigation revealed an additional $35,200 in cash and checks meant for the family. As investigators dug deeper, the story grew more tangled. Just 2 days before her death, on October 29th, a fire broke out at a lakeside cabin, jointly owned by Bobby and Gary on Great East Lake. The flames consumed the structure entirely, and the cause was determined to be intentional. Gary initially became the focus of suspicion, but after extensive questioning and polygraph tests, he was cleared. Suspicion then shifted to their son Jonathan, who was named a person of interest. However, nothing concrete ever came from this lead. Who would have wanted Bobby dead? Was the fire meant to send a warning, or was it an unrelated event? Her brother Ken has never stopped searching for answers. He keeps a book of memories dedicated to his sister and has offered a $55,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. After all this time, the questions still hang in the air. Annalise Johnstone. What led to the tragic death of 22-year-old Annalise Johnstone on that chilling night in May 2018? The events surrounding her final hours remain a haunting mystery that still lingers in Dundee's memory. On May 9, 2018, Annalise left her hometown of Obscura around lunchtime. She was traveling with her brother Jordan Johnston and his partner Angela Newland. The couple had been recently forced out of their home due to severe flooding, leaving them without a place to stay. At 2 p.m., security cameras captured Jordan and Angela stopping at a Sainsbury's supermarket. 2 hours later, Annalise was spotted on CCTV at the Alpine store in Obscura. Afterward, she dropped off her beloved dog, Psyche, with her friend Donna Patton. She assured Donna she'd return within an hour, but she didn't. 7 hours later, she messaged Donna, apologizing for the delay and promising to pick up her dog soon. That evening, Annalise joined Jordan, Angela, and his 4 children in a Ford Galaxy as they headed out to grab food. Just after midnight on May 10th, the Ford Galaxy was caught on camera at a garage in Kingsway, Dundee, before heading to Camperdown Park. Later, private security footage showed the vehicle near the Maggie Wall Monument between 1:28 and 2 a.m. The Maggie Wall Monument is an eerie site, believed to commemorate a woman accused of witchcraft centuries ago. The car left the monument briefly, then reverted, remaining there for about 15 minutes before driving away for the final time. What happened during those mysterious minutes at the monument? Later that day, Stephen and Elaine Bailey, a retired couple out for a midday walk, made a horrifying discovery. Behind a dry stone dike near the Maggie Wall Monument lay the body of Annalise Johnstone. Her throat had been brutally cut, causing her death almost instantly. At first glance, the retired couple who discovered her remains thought they had stumbled upon a mannequin. The pale skin and an unusual luminous color at the base of her neck gave the scene an almost unreal appearance. But the grim reality quickly became clear. This was no mannequin. In the early hours of the next morning, Annalise's brother Jordan contacted the police to report his sister missing. He gave his address as Raven Grove, but when officers arrived, the home was completely empty. Jordan was later found at Newland's parents' home. Back at Dundee Police Headquarters, Jordan was prepared to give an official statement about his sister's disappearance. Before he could finish, detectives delivered devastating news. A deceased woman matching Annalise's description had been found. Witnesses described Jordan as visibly emotional and deeply upset upon hearing the news. But despite his reaction, he and Newland were soon put on trial for Annalise's death. Newland was quickly cleared of charges after a witness placed her miles away from the crime scene during the time of the murder. This testimony gave her a solid alibi. Jordan, however, told a far more disturbing story. He admitted to carrying his sister's body in his arms and placing her behind the dry stone dike. His reasoning? He claimed he was afraid Newland's father would harm Annalise further. Even with such a confession, Jordan was cleared of all charges. The jury returned a not-proven verdict, a unique outcome in Scottish law that means the jury couldn't find enough evidence to convict, but also couldn't fully clear the accused of suspicion. The judge ruled that the accusations Jordan and Newland made against each other couldn't be used as solid evidence in the case. Years have passed, but the homicide of Annalise Johnstone still hasn't been solved. Her tragic death near the Maggie Wall Monument continues to cast a shadow over Perthshire, leaving behind lingering questions and a haunting silence. Robert Childers. In Florence, Alabama, the name Robert Childers still holds a lasting place in people's memories. On the night of September 17, 2016, he was last seen walking away from his home on Lauderdale County Highway 141. His roommate, David Nix, recalled Robert leaving sometime between 9 p.m. and midnight, locking his truck behind him but offering no explanation about where he was headed. Robert, a 51-year-old disabled man, required medication, but it's unclear whether he had it with him when he left. Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department officially filed him as a missing person. During the investigation, authorities made a chilling discovery. A hunter's trail camera located in a wooded area near County Road 178, close to the Tennessee state line, captured an image of Robert on the day he disappeared. In the photo, he was seen carrying a red cooler box, but his shirt was torn and his pants were ripped. Since then, there's been no activity on his bank account or social security number. He left behind his keys, phone, and wallet. Friends later revealed they had been concerned for his safety, believing he was in danger. One possible clue lies in a long-standing property dispute. 20 years earlier, Robert's father had purchased a home and some land where the two lived together. However, after unpaid taxes, the property was auctioned off and purchased by a man named Leroy Darby. Darby began efforts to evict Robert and his father, and after Robert's father passed away in 2014, the pressure intensified. At one point, Darby even had the power to Robert's home cut off in an attempt to force him out. However, Robert managed to secure a temporary court order to delay the eviction. A final hearing was scheduled to determine ownership of the property, but Robert vanished just before that court date. Suspicion soon turned to David Nix, Robert's roommate and the last known person to see him alive. Nix gave conflicting statements during questioning, raising eyebrows among investigators. He admitted that he and Robert had a rocky relationship, often arguing and even engaging in physical fights. But one detail stood out. David Nix reportedly used bleach to clean parts of the house shortly after Robert disappeared. While authorities found these actions suspicious, Nix maintains his innocence and has never been officially named a suspect. Was foul play involved in Robert's disappearance? Did the property dispute play a role, or was something else at work? Even with all the time spent investigating, vital clues are still nowhere to be found, and the case remains open. Lake Annecy incident. What started as a simple bike ride on September 5, 2012, turned into something much more mysterious for Brett Martin, a British ex-pilot, as he traveled through the French Alps. His route took him near Lake Annecy, often praised as the cleanest lake in Europe. But what started as an ordinary ride turned into a chilling discovery that would grip investigators and the public for years. What exactly did Brett come across that day? In a quiet lay-by off the mountain road, he stumbled upon a horrific scene. A BMW with its engine still running, blood splattered across its exterior, and a cyclist lying motionless on the ground nearby. Moments earlier, a brutal attack had unfolded, leaving devastation in its wake. The victims included Saad al-Hili, an Iraqi-born British engineer, his wife, Iqbal, and her mother. Alongside them was an unrelated cyclist, Sylvain Mollier, who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. In total, 25 gunshots had shattered the silence of the alpine surroundings. But here's the strange part: no one heard a thing. Investigators believe the sound of the gunfire may have been masked by Brett Martin crossing a nearby bridge at the exact moment of the attack. Inside the car, the three family members had suffered fatal wounds from close-range shots, while Sylvain Mollier was struck 7 times. Why were they in such an isolated spot? Was this a random act of violence, a targeted attack, or the work of a lone psychopath? The investigation uncovered a few puzzling details. The BMW had reversed sharply, leaving clear tire marks in the loose gravel. Could they have been trying to escape? Even more perplexing, no clear evidence or eyewitnesses emerged. As the case unfolded, authorities detained multiple suspects over the years, but none could be definitively linked to the crime. With no solid leads, the investigation hit repeated dead ends. But the mystery didn't stop there. One eerie detail stood out. Iqbal's previous husband died of a heart attack on the exact same day as the murders. Despite the strange timing, investigators ultimately ruled this as unrelated to the attack. In recent years, advances in DNA analysis have sparked renewed hope. Authorities have re-examined clothing, cigarette butts, and even pieces of the firearm used in the attack. So there you have it. If any of these cases gave you chills, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories from the shadows.